Hi there. This is a to Z video about Linchpin. It's probably going to be a very dirty video, and I'm not as well prepared as I should be for all the stuff that I want to present. And also, I'm not alone. There's Inga, and Sarah, and Patrick, and Emily, and Basti around, so there may be some background noises. But one of the things that we need to help other partners and our customers to understand Linchpin better is a comprehensive full story that covers everything that we offer in Linchpin. Basically, in most cases, we cannot present everything because time's not enough, or I don't know, internet's not fast enough, which is the case right now also. So this is also going to be a at least limited session in terms of what I can show from live internet. However, the idea is to give you a full session of everything that we offer, from the very basics of Linchpin to a deep dive into all features that we offer. As I said, I'm not very well prepared for every single plugin that we offer in Linchpin, so it may be that you'll have to live with an explanation of what we are offering and doing, but I'll try to be as explicit and detailed as possible. And feel free to contact me later. And there is a plan to offer specific videos for all and every single feature. I'll show you later. But let's start with the basics. So Linchpin is an intranet solution based on Atlassian Confluence. If you want to get a very quick overview, there's this 2-minute video that normally I would play right now because it's only 2 minutes and the session will go much longer than those 2 minutes. But I think the web connection is not fast enough. So if you go to linchpinintranet.com, you'll find this video. You can play it. I think let's start it. It's 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That's the best investment that you can do to understand what Linchpin can do for you. And this navigation here holds basically everything that you need to understand what we do. So what you need in terms of infrastructure, what the pricing is. And as you can see, the web connection isn't very fast. So I'm not going to be able to show everything live, especially not later in the Linchpin demo instance. I have prepared this pricing website. So basically, we offer the same pricing modes that Atlassian offers. It's a user-tiered pricing, and it includes all licenses that you need and all professional services that we or a Linchpin partner will offer. This is also a preparation video for Atlassian partners. So those professional services could be those partner services as well. For 100 users, the guaranteed fixed price offering is $40K US, and for unlimited users, it's $175K. The Linchpin plugins only for these offerings are also written down here. And if you click on the blue More Info button, for example, here for unlimited users, you'll get to a detail page that will show you the modular elements of our offering. Basically, there are 2 ways for customers and for partners to sell and implement Linchpin. One is a guaranteed success all-inclusive project that includes all professional services and licenses. And the other is what we call a cherry picking or do-it-yourself approach, where you just buy some plugins and deliver the services that you want to deliver or that you want delivered. So the more you can do yourself, the more advanced you are in your Atlassian Confluence usage already, the more appealing the do-it-yourself approach may be, the more political, convincing, the more strategy, the more training, the more diverse requirements you have in your internet project, the more appealing this guaranteed success full price offering will probably be. There is a breakdown of every single license that we offer for every single tier. So this is for the unlimited tier, more than 10,000 users. You need a Confluence, obviously. You need those Linchpin plugins. And there are third-party plugins that we suggest. But all of these plugins will be run through with you together, and we'll find out whether you have them already. You don't have to pay them price, obviously, and whether you need them at all. So it could also be that we'll kick out a couple of licenses here. And we've done tens of these projects already. And the combination of licenses have almost always been different. Same goes for the professional services. What customers need in terms of professional services is very different. So these lists here in the brackets planning, implementation, rollout are just examples. Basically, what we offer with the fixed price and with the guarantee is that we guarantee to deliver a successful internet project. No matter what the customer, what you actually need, we'll deliver that service. And that's a very big advantage in terms of budget planning, because you know I'm going to pay, for example, here you're going to pay this 75K amount of money, and that's it. There are 3 exceptions. What is not included in professional services, that's grunt work. So, for example, you have 15,000 pages and you want us to take them over one by one manually. That's not going to be included in the fixed price. One-by-one training is not included. So you have 25,000 employees. We cannot go desk to desk for every single employee and tell them what Confluence and what Linchpin is and what they can do and how their life's or working life's gonna change with this new intranet. So massive training is not included. What we do, by the way, is we do offer massive training in terms of scale. So we offer webinars where hundreds of people can participate. We offer train-the-trainer workshops that you then can bring into the fields on the site to your employees. And also for grunt work, if you have employees who can do this manual work, what will be included in the fixed price is that we train them how to take over this content, that we review this content with them and help them understand how they can make their work even better. But we don't copy all these single pages. And there's a third exception that is not covered by the fixed price, and this is coding. So we don't enhance the software with the fixed price. What we do is we implement the software, we install the servers, we configure the servers, we make sure everything works in your environment or in your private cloud or on an Amazon cloud or whatever you choose as a hosting environment. But we do not add a specific feature that will pull this and that data live from your legacy system X. So this is possible, and all of our Linchpin partners will offer this as well, but it's not going to be covered by the fixed price offering. So summing this up, when you look at the pricing, you'll get a, in my opinion, an attractive and comprehensive offer that will include all services, all licenses, and the only exceptions are things that are very individual and that make a lot of work, especially for those very big companies that we've worked with. There have been companies with more than 50,000 employees, and you can imagine that it is a challenge to offer a guaranteed fixed price to such a big company, and we do, and we actually deliver based on this price. So these 3 exceptions that I explained will be necessary to make this come true. Okay, so much about Linchpin basics and pricing, I would highly recommend that you come back to this website. A lot of work has gone into that. It's available in German as well. And it's the best way for the first, 45 minutes to work with Linchpin. So you just go to the starting page and then you click on those menu items and read about who we worked for already and see the videos of them saying how awesome this is and so on. Pricing info we covered already. So let's go to something that is kind of the reason why I'm creating this video. It's a Linchpin info session for partners in Barcelona today. And there's a couple more infos that I want to cover to make this interesting for customers as well. I would want to focus on the software itself right now. So there is the first step you could take to look at Linchpin is to go to demonstration.linchpinintranet.com demonstration.linchpinintranet.com, and then you'll see a login page. Let me do that real quick. Let's see how fast this goes. Oh, that's pretty fast. So let's log out here real quick. Okay, that's going to be the page that you'll see. And there's a user T. Schröder, and the password is exactly the same. And this will allow you to log in. If you want to know more of those logins that we prepared, Linchpin instance, you can search on Google for demonstration Linchpin instance. It's unfortunately not yet linked from the Linchpin website, but Google will help you. And you'll find the URL here. And there's also a user, Catherine Holmes, K. Holmes, P. Winter, T. Schröder, and other users that you can log in. And there's also some info about what you can see there. However, if you go to demonstration, linchpinintranet.com and log in, you can experience Linchpin with all of its features. And it's deployed, Inga, once a week on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once a week we deploy the very latest version of Linchpin. Between that, people can upload, naked pictures of yourself or something. We may see it and delete it, but we only guarantee to renew the instance every Sunday. But if you want to have the newest features and the latest version of plugins, even those that may not be on the marketplace yet, this is the instance of choice. If you prefer an instance that is tailored to your company, like if you're a partner and you want to make sure that everything that you present is in your design and that works the way you prepare that, you would rather want to have your own instance and not our instance that will be reset once a week. So our automated hosting service Swift is for you here. So if you type in swift.cbitmedia.net, you can choose Linchpin as a product. We also offer that for Confluence, for Jira, and for Bitbucket Server. But for now, we want to have a Linchpin instance. Then you say, my company .linchpinintranet.com is the URL that I want to use, and my email address is so-and-so. There's also a manage area where you can have, if you're a partner, you can create a Linchpin instance for every single customers that you have, and then you can make this secure by deactivating all the standard users and only creating those users for the customer and you, so that you can privately work in this Linchpin instance. Please note that if you generate a Linchpin instance, we will, and I'll have to ask Inga again, we'll generate the most current version of the template, right? Mm-hmm. So not the last Sunday, but like the today current version. So you may get a newer version than on demonstration, but it's not going to update. So you will get a copy of the instance that we generate internally daily, but it's not going to update itself automatically. So after that, you'll have to rely on marketplace updates and so on. So if you do that for a customer, and the sales cycle is very long, and we experience that a lot, that people in big companies take months to evaluate internet solutions and to actually start the project, you may want to consider to create multiple instances on Swift for this customer. Okay, let's go into the features. So if you log in with T-Schroeder, that's the page that will appear, and we'll do it like this. I'm going to explain the starting page to you. I'm going to explain the personalization part to you, and then I'm going to go to this page here, and we'll have a rundown by features. And this is going to take a long time. And as you see by the red indication by the red stars and the yellow stars, we are not that good at documenting this. And so this is kind of my effort to change this in a quick way. Let's start with the dashboard and the fully personalized starting page. So although I'm talking English all the time here, this is a German page. So let's assume that T. Schröder was a German user from Frankfurt in Germany who actually speaks German. This is why he has a German navigation here. This navigation, basically everything that you see on this page has been changed to make this an intranet experience and not the usual Confluence standard experience. I'm not prepared to show you the differences between a standard Confluence and a Linchpin, but if we go to the pricing page, back again, no, the theme archetype is not linked here. So let's search for that really quick. Okay, so we're back to our recent standard of web connection. So I probably shouldn't leave the script because I'll have to induce too much loading times for you. However, the dashboard is looking very different from what the okay, here's a small example of how the Confluence normally looks like and how an archetype looks like, and then we also have a so this is the Confluence archetype, and then we also have for Linchpin another archetype. Basically, we've changed a lot in the surface to make this a very stripped down and easy to consume experience. You can have a logo up here, you have the search engine as you know it with the recent search results, so nothing changed here. Your workbox, your profile access and other things that you know from Confluence. Then there's this navigation here in German, and this is our what we call menu navigation editor. I'm going to go back to this later. And the create button, cover stories are news that are offered by the company top down. Then there are personalized version of events. So those are German events here, teaser boxes, news that users can actively subscribe to or unsubscribe from. It's a means of offering internal newsletters, a video. And as soon as my profile information changes, let's go here and click on profile. This is also a feature that Linchpin offers. It's a beefed up profile page with a lot of profile fields that I can fill. And two of the things in this profile is my branch is Frankfurt and the country is Deutschland. And as soon as I click on edit here, I can change a lot of those things. And they could have been populated by my user directory, and it could be an Active Directory, any LDAP, SAP, Novell, IBM, Lotus Connections, or Lotus Notes, and so on. So as soon as I change that to, for example, Washington and USA, you will see that directly the navigation is English and it's tailored to Washington. And this is not a mere translation of this navigation, but it's basically the personalized version for an employee that speaks English and is in Washington. And the same goes for the whole starting page. So we see English news right now. We don't see events because we didn't populate them, but it's going to change eventually when we offer them. Then there's an English teaser box. The video is English now. And this is my subscription, so this hasn't changed. But basically everything on this page has now switched language and also switched location. And the good thing about Linchpin, and only Linchpin can do this for Confluence right now, is that you can offer a fully personalized experience for customers. So that, for example, if you have like 10,000 employees, every employee gets a tailored version of the intranet that is more relevant to him, as if you only had one page for all of your employees. Okay, so, and what I did, because I thought it may be difficult with the loading times, is I logged in with Peggy Winter, or I don't know, Peter Winter, who is in Washington already, and also I think Catherine Holmes, or yeah, and she's in Tel Aviv, and also has a Hebraic or Hebrew navigation here. Actually, I can't say anything about content-wise, but what we wanted to show is that this is in full support of UTF-8. So you can have Cyrillic languages or Chinese or Japanese languages in the same system as well. And our plugins will support this as well. There is what we call an app store, where you can subscribe to apps. If you want to have this very easily described, you could also say it's a link store. So if I click here, I go to Bamboo or to Bitbucket or to SAP or Oracle or Jira or Basecamp or whatever. And if I click on this pen here, it's going to redirect me to a page where I can then unsubscribe from Tableau 3 and add HipChat as a link. And this App Center here is also able to be personalized. So if I am in marketing department, the marketing department can decide whether they want to offer me apps, or if they want to have mandatory apps that I kind of have to include to my app center. And it can be an opt-in. So why don't you take this MailChimp newsletter app in your settings and say, yes, I want. Or it could be an opt-out. So you're in marketing, so we have added MailChimp newsletters in your app center. You said, okay, and say no, so it's kind of an opt-out. Or it could be a forced. So as you are in marketing, you have to have this MailChimp thing. Okay, that's the app center. Then what we also have is a microblog. This is kind of a Yammer, or maybe we could say a cheap Yammer. We don't have a native mobile app, for example, right now, but we have a email digest, and you can react from the email to it. So there's some mobile integration for the microblog, and we may need some loading time here. However, it's a microblogging feature within Confluence, natively built in Confluence as a plugin. And let's note down. And it features the regex editor of Confluence. So I can go in here and add videos, pictures, text, format text, have the usual short links where I can link people and pages, add mention people, and so on. A lot of our customers use that for project update, quick project updates. So working on Barcelona video could be my update here. So I post it, and here it is. And only those people who have access to this space, MAR marketing, can see that, and they can then hit like, they can reply to that very easily. Awesome. I should have taken another user, but I think you get the point. Everyone who has worked with Twitter or Facebook will probably get how this works. And it's in addition for quick updates within projects and some kind of water cooler discussions in your company. Okay, the microblog. And that is the point when we normally make a pause and give people room to ask questions, and when the demo kind of ends. So I'm going to drink something. And the purpose of this video is not to end here, but to give you the rest of the stuff. Let me look up real quick how long. Oh, so 26 minutes. Maybe as long time to offer you the rest, but we'll see. Until that part, you can easily get a demo from us and people. And we can also demo the rest, but mostly when we do demos, there are people who are not that familiar with Linchpin, so we need to do the basics as well. So we've been talking about pricing. Let me close that down. Okay, and I wanted to go to this page. Let me explain this to you real quick. It's actually an internal page in German, but it doesn't matter for us. We have a couple of plugins in Confluence, and those plugins offer a couple of features. And then we have those stars, so which will say, do we have a good video on how this works? For example, for personalized dashboards or starting pages for users, we do have videos. The first part was me explaining to you the personalized dashboard. So this has been explained on different occasions already. And for almost all of the rest of the features, there is no video available yet. And as I'm meeting partners today, I want to say to them at least that there is a video that they can watch to get all this info if they want to, and have the stamina to watch all this. So let's start with the custom user profile. We are working on bringing all of these plugins to the Atlassian Marketplace. So as you can see, I have opened up those links here. For example, the custom user profile is a plugin on the Marketplace already. And it does have a video, it does have screenshots and some descriptions, and you can download it and evaluate it just as you like. Some of those plugins do not have a Marketplace entry yet. For example, the Enterprise News Bundle doesn't, the App Center doesn't have it, and Profile-Based Content doesn't have it. For the rest, we already have Marketplace plugins. It's just a means of time. So we do want to offer this, but it's taking some time, as all of those of you who have created their own plugins know they also have to be maintained and all of this stuff. What we do have for all of this is like available features. So there are so-called OBR files or jar files that you can install into Confluence to use it. We don't distribute those OBR files easily today because they don't have any licensing installed. So this is actually only available through our Swift service, automated hosting, or for existing customers. As I said, it's going to change. Let's go through the features real quick. To make this, if time efficient is a word that I may use in this video any longer, to make this as time efficient as possible, I will run through the features real quick, and then I will try to see whether I can show you the feature in the software actually. I highly doubt that this will be possible for most of the features. Reason is sometimes I don't know whether I can do this with the demonstration instance, and other is sometimes you have to prepare data to present that, and I didn't do that. I just wanted to get the video out and explain what Linchpin can do. So customize user profiles. If you look at this profile that I've shown from, is it Thorsten Schröder? Theo Schröder. He can upload a big picture. Confluence can't do that. He has different profile fields that we can define in the admin area. Confluence can't do that. You can populate all of this data from multiple Active Directories, LDAPs, Lotus Nodes directories, Novell, and so on. So for one company, we have more than 10 different user directories connected. User profiles. There's this editor here, and it features all the fields that we've created in categories, field types, whether they show in the vCard, whether they are a required field. So you can force people to select a department, and we do that here because if we wouldn't require that, the personalization would break. So a department is a must in a feature. Everything else is an optional. And everything can be changed. You can add profile pictures. You can say, there's a lot of things actually where you can define whether fields are overwritten by, so if you have overlaps, so multiple user directories, you can define which one is more important than the other. And you can also say if someone does something in Confluence directly, whether this is more important than the user directory or not. Whether they can only see it, whether they can edit it, and so on. So that's custom profiles. Let's go back here. So you can use existing data from legacy systems. You can have multiple language field names. So a German user will see a German field name, and an English user will see an English field name. You can use those fields to create and manage groups. We call this dynamic user group plugin or enhancement, I don't know, which means that everyone who says I'm in department marketing will automatically be added to a group within Confluence that is, for example, called marketing. That's something that Confluence cannot do by default. And so based on data that people populate in their profile, we can change the groups in Confluence. You can change the vCard. So a vCard is if you have a username, this is the vCard here. So everything that is displayed here can be configured in the custom user profile plugin. There's an org chart. Let me try to show this real quick to you. So if you click here, you can see that Theo is the subordinate of Michael Miller, and that Florian Sommerfeld is reporting to Theo. This could be way more complex, but it's not configured that way in this instance here, org charts. You can import profile data from LDAP XML. We have a standardized, now I'm recorded, I am recorded by someone else while I'm recording myself. So XML data import directly from SAP without further configuration is possible. The profile completion assistant helps you to force people to add info to their field. So if they have something missing, the system will require them to add this. I think I can show you in the admin area here. So let's make the phone number a required field. So I'm going to click on this pencil here. Try to bridge the waiting time for a slow internet connection here. And then we want to make this a required field. Okay. Maybe I can jump back to this later when the page is loaded. So I've shown you personalized starting pages, dashboards. Custom user lists is also something that I'll have to... okay, that's bad. Do you experience that connection as well?
No, it's working.
Okay. Okay, it's working here as well. Okay. Okay, here, and by the way, there's documentation for all of the stuff that I'm saying. So if you are a good reader, you can read most of the stuff that I'm presenting to you. There's an admin documentation, there's a developer documentation with a REST API, and there's also a user documentation. Okay, but in this video, we're not going to use or read documentation, so I'm going to just click this required field here and activate this. So by enabling this option, we require as a required field in the profile completion assistant. I think we have to activate this as well. Let's save this setting here and hope that the web connection stays stable. Okay, I think it's a general settings. So profile completion assistant is activated. Fine, don't have to change that. Let's go back to Theo's profile and see whether he has populated a phone number. No, he doesn't. So this is the next page that I've loaded. And Linchpin now tells Theo, complete your profile. In order to proceed, you have to fill out the following fields so that your user profile is complete and customized content can be provided for you. And as you can see, we have those as mandatory fields already, and the phone number is a mandatory field as well. So let me provide my mobile phone number here real quick. Feel free to call me whenever you want with purposeful goals. I could also say complete later, but this will only hold, let's try that. So I'm not going to provide anything. I just say complete later. And for the next page, so it's kind of annoying that you load, the profile completion assistant will reappear and ask you for your phone number. So it's not very easy to escape populating the profile field for very long. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. Okay, I'll show you later. I think you get the point. So what the profile completion assistant does, it offers this prompt where you, does it load? Where you then can populate your, or have to populate the info that the user is asking for. Okay. So that's the profile completion assistant. Custom user lists. It's not very, I didn't prepare that, so it's probably also something that I can't show in the system. Okay, so custom user list basically is a macro where you can configure, I want to have all users with these elements, and then you get a user list, and you can define which columns you want to see, whether you can see their email address, their phone number, their so everything in this table that should be shown can be defined, and then Confluence will offer a list of all users. That's very handy if you want to make a portal site with your team, with your department, with your site, a phone number list, and everything like that. Okay. Now we have the profile abbreviation assistant. The others are complaining about the bad web connection as well, so it's not only my problem. Let's try to make this happen. No, wait, don't try. Web connection too weak. Okay. Custom user lists. I think there's a video for that available already. Otherwise, ping me and I'll create one. There's a custom user search, something like a phone number or phone book, where you can search instantaneously for departments, skills. It's also we call that internally expert finder. So everyone who knows about SAP, who can speak Chinese and is in Washington. And then you get a list of all users that match. It's also a phone book. You can subscribe to users, and then they will be in your buddy list, as we call it internally. So those features, let me do a time check again. This is all the features of only custom user profile plugin. Then there's the navigation menu editor that offers these personalized menus. And the cool thing about that is that's a federated approach. So you can delegate the creation of menus to different users without making them an administrator of your Confluence instance. So the site owner for your Paris subsidiary can make a navigation experience for all of those 10 people in Paris. And the guy in London can do for the 150 people in London. And the headquarters in Washington can do that for the 1,500 users in Washington. And all of these users are not administrators. They're just using the navigation menu editor to create the overall experience of the navigation and personalize that. Then there's an import-export feature where, and this is very important if you have, for example, a test system where you try out how the Paris navigation could work. You can import the existing navigation with an XML file, and you can change everything you need for your Paris site. And then you can export this from your test instance and import it into the production system. Very handy for testing instances, staging, and all of this stuff. I explained the concept of menu editors. I showed you the personalization. I can't show you the preview feature. Actually, I could show, but I think the web connection is just way too poor to do that. We're stuck with the user list recently, right? So user, come on. No. No, that's not fun. I'm just gonna finish this off by just explaining the stuff to you. Sorry for. I shouldn't be doing this in Barcelona, but now I have time, so if you bear with me. Okay, navigation menu editor. There are a couple of videos. This is also documented, and it's a marketplace plugin, so this is probably also possible to experience that on your own. Then the microblog, that's, by the way, the plugin. Then we have the microblog. It's a faster way of sharing content. Most of our customers, as I said, use it within projects. It's a Facebook or Twitter-like experience where you can easily and fastly show or share messages, and people can hit like and reply on that. So a threaded experience. So you can microblog, you can tag them. There's an email digest that goes to you. You can do this digest per space. So you can say only these projects I want to get via email. You can have rights. So if someone cannot go to a certain space, he won't get the microblogging info from this space either. And there's also a microblogging macro. So if you put the microblog in a certain page, you can define whether it will only show certain info from certain spaces, from certain users, and all this stuff. How many replies, and so on. Edit log is a very easy plugin that is likely to become obsolete in the future. It's preventing concurrent editing of pages. So as soon as Confluence 6.0 comes out, this is hopefully obsolete because there's no need to prevent users from changing pages concurrently, because that's the point. Then easy events is something like Doodle, a one-click experience where you can subscribe to events. You can export events to calendars. You can do event lists where you can show every event from one subsidiary or on one side or from the marketing department and so on. It's natively integrated into Confluence and enhances pages to become events, basically. Customers use that for seminars, for internal events, for external events, for webinars, for all of this stuff. Everything that has a date, basically, and that has people who can join this event could be featured by Easy Events, this plugin here. Okay, next on the list is terms of use. I think the claim is be always on good terms with the users. We see this a lot in big companies where, for example, the workers' union or HR wants to make sure that everyone who interacts with the system agrees to certain terms. For example, if you upload a picture, please make sure that we as a company may use this picture, because otherwise it's a copyright infringement, and we don't want users to upload pictures that are not licensed, and then other users who find these pictures in our internal systems to reuse them, and it can be a big problem. So in those bigger companies that we deploy intranets with, terms of use plugin is pretty popular. Then the duplicate content defender, I would really want to show you. So if you create a new page, and this page actually loads, and you start to create a page title, for example, test, the duplicate content defender, and this works actually, will show you other pages that have the same keywords in their title. So you can restrict it to the current space, or you can have all the test pages of all spaces. And then you can click on those and see what's inside. And say, okay, I want to edit this page. And the idea behind that is to reduce the chaos in your wiki by showing users actively that there is other content available in the system already, and that it may be a good idea to add to this content instead of creating a new page with the same content. The duplicate content defender, also a marketplace plugin already. Then the next is the language manager, a pretty new plugin for us. And basically it offers a Wikipedia-like experience for multiple languages. So you can define for every page which language it has, and you can link pages together that have the same or similar content like in Wikipedia. So let's assume you're a movie goer and you love the film Inception. You could have an English page of the Inception movie, and you could also have a German page of the same movie. They don't necessarily have to have the same content. Most likely, people from both languages will look at each other's site and try to match that. But we admit that in intranets, it's a goal of corporate communications a lot, but it's merely impossible to have this happen in reality. So you most often have, I don't know, the news is created in French, and then the English will copy some part of it, and I don't know, 3 weeks later, there's a German version of the same news as well. And that's supported by the language manager most naturally and easily. And so every page has its own Confluence page, and they are linked with this plugin, the language manager. Then the enterprise news bundle is I showed that here with the cover stories. Basically, it's a fully personalized experience that changes. So you could have 2 of those, you could have 3, you could have 8, and you can define where they pull the data from. Basically, what we show right now in the enterprise news bundle is blog posts, but you can define through a macro where these news come from. So let's see for Corporate News Frankfurt, for example, if it loads. Okay, so as soon as I hit edit here, we will see that this page has an excerpt, and this excerpt will hold the cover stories macro, and I can edit this. You can define a layout, so 4 big news, or 2 big and 4 small ones, or 8 small ones, and then you can say where to retrieve the info from which space, which labels data should have, which type of news should be displayed here, and so on. And basically everything in Linchpin can be configured by users. You don't have to code anything. You don't have to be a programmer to use Linchpin and configure it. And the Enterprise News Bundle offers those personalized news feeds. It also offers the bottom-up news, so that I, as a user, can say I'm interested in this and that. And depending on my choice, the news will change. Oh, there's mandatory news. I will not be able to demonstrate that right now, but basically it says this news is so important that every user has to see it. And like in the profile completion assistant earlier, this news will then have its own layer and be shown whenever users log the next time into the intranet or pull up the next page. And they can then read the news and say, I've read it, and then it's going to go away. And if they have multiple of those news, because they've logged in for not for two weeks or something, they'll see it news by news, one after the other. So it's a way, if you have something that is really, really important, you can force this news on every user within the system. I think that's it. That's the Enterprise News Bundle. This is coming to Marketplace right now. You'll have to create your own Swift instance to see that. The App Center I've shown already. So you have your individual list of apps. You have a macro that where you can list all the categories. You can have personalized suggestions for apps, and you can even have forced apps, where you force apps into the list of users. Profile-based content is the most complex plugin in the list. Let me try to explain that real quick. Sorry. As the web is working right now, let's try to create a user list. User list. Ah, works. Awesome. So I can define from which group someone should be coming, like marketing or whatever. I can display offline and online users. No, hold on. This is. I think this is a Confluence. Yeah, customized user list. Sorry, it was that's not our plugin. That's not a plugin. Okay, so you can define a profile field. Let's say everyone from the country Germany. Let's get a preview. Is there anyone inside? Yeah, some people. And then I can define which profile fields, for example, tell me on which site and give me which applications they use. You could have an email address, you could have a phone number, whatever. And then you insert the list, save the page, and ta-da! Loading times. Here's our custom user list with the branch, with sorting options, with all the applications that I know, and so on. I think you get the point. Okay, profile-based content in the admin area. Basically, if you, I will try to explain you from the starting page experience that I've explained in the very beginning of this video. I showed you how all of this content is going to change depending on which country and site settings the user has. And in the admin area, if you go to Global Templates and Blueprints, on the very bottom, there is the welcome message. And you can edit that. And it looks like a normal Confluence page, but it mainly consists of macros. So it has a normal title that I could change. And then there's a full profile-based content macro for the content group cover stories. And profile-based content macro for content group events, for teaser, Speiseplan, Linchpin video, microblog, and the update wall. This is a different plugin, but normally the whole macros here are profile-based content macros. And I'm going to try to explain you real quick how this works. So if we go to the administration area, there's a section that is called profile-based content, and we can configure that. And the first thing you have to do for profile-based content is you have to define which attributes the personalization should be based on. Here it is the branch, so the location, the department of the user, and the country, which leads to these three columns here. So if I would change anything up here, the columns would change here. And then for the content group cover stories and the dimension branch equals Frankfurt, the page with the excerpt macro corporate news Frankfurt will be taken. Let me show you this with an example, and this will make it easier for you to understand. So if we go back to the starting page, we will have a certain set of news. I think we said that this Theo Schröder should be in Washington right now. So we would have to go to we should have the other session here, right? Yeah. Okay, so right now he's in Washington. Let's make him be an employee that is in Frankfurt. Okay, Frankfurt, Germany. Awesome. Chocolate. Now with a bad web connection, I'm going to have a mouthful. But I'm going to put all the blame on Barcelona. Okay, slowly we'll see the page with the news. And what our configuration says is, if you have the contact group cover stories and the branch is Frankfurt, display the excerpt from Corporate News Frankfurt. And actually, I have been to this page earlier in this video, and this is the excerpt. So these are the cover stories with the 4 elements. And just for the sake of changing something, let's, for example, do this right now. Then we don't have a configuration for those here, and I won't offer it. Okay. So that's going to take a while then. Hold on. CNFFM. No, go back. Oh, no, that's going to take too long. So you'll have to believe me that when I change this, it will directly be displayed on the dashboard because everything that we see here is just incorporated from the excerpt from this page as configured here. So as I have created the branch, or have said in the profile that branch Frankfurt is Frankfurt, it pulls the excerpt from this page. If I would say the branch is Tel Aviv, it would pull the excerpt macro from the page Corporate News Tel Aviv. And we'll find out that all of these pages actually exist, and all of these pages only have one excerpt macro, and that will be displayed depending on the profile elements. I've heard that this is called passive personalizations or personalization. And we have different content groups here: cover stories, Linchpin video, teaser, events, contact, and so on. And sometimes, for example, here you have 2 dimensions. So if the user is from Berlin and is in the Department of Human Resources, he'll get the HR news. If he's in Berlin and in the Department of IT, he'll get the IT news. And if he is in Berlin normally, without any department that matches, he'll get. Okay, so that's a different content group. It's not defined, but you could define a default kind of. Okay, so that's a long video, but I'm not going to present the third-party plugins. Thanks for listening for an hour and 3 minutes. I hope that this will help some of you. Some of you may have find that boring. If not, and if you have come this far, please help me understand this with a comment below, or shoot me an email, msiebert@siebert.media.net, or just search for Martin Siebert on Google. And I'm very happy to answer questions that you may have. It's a lot of content. It's a lot of features that Linchpin can offer on top of Confluence, and I hope that we'll get in contact about it. Thanks. Bye.